Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome to day 5 of the 12 Cast Ons of Christmas. My name is Kirsty, and if you're new here, the 12 Cast Ons of Christmas is where it's been a long hosted by Ange of Yarn and Yarns, but where you cast on 12 things, or up to 12 things, between the 24th of December and the 31st of January the following year. For my part, I do it completely random. I've put projects that I have everything ready for in this pot, and I pick one out and I cast on whatever comes out. There are 24 projects in this pot. That is by no means every project that I have the yarn ready to start, which is a little bit crazy, but these are the ones that I've chosen today or this year. And I'm just choosing one a day at random, finding everything I need to start it and starting it. That means that I may be scrounging for needles, I may be trying to figure things out as I go. I do just want to say welcome to all the new viewers. There have been, honestly, the response to the first couple of videos has been completely overwhelming. The third one goes up today, and day 3 goes up today, and it's just been really, really great to hear from so many of you and to see how well it's being received. So thank you so much for being here. And for those of you who've been around for a while, it is so good to have you back. And as always, I'd love to hear what you're working on while you watch this video. Today is a slower day for us. We did get a little bit of snow overnight, not much, but a little bit. So I am in natural light at the moment, but there is snow covering the windows a little bit, so it's not quite glary. In fact, I think it's still overcast on that side of the house. On the other side, we may have a bit of blue sky. But the snow has just brightened everything up. Not much, maybe a couple of centimetres, but it's just, the whole world is transformed when you have that blanket of white. So, very excited. What else? Today is just going to be a slow day. So my plan is that I will have lots and lots of time to work on whatever I pick out of the bowl. So let's pick it out and see what I'm going to be starting today. All right, we have an alpaca paper with a party hat. Let's see what is inside. Oh, okay, the Aurora Cabin shawl. This is a Stephen West shawl. It was part of the Hybrid Knit Along, I want to say maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And I bought the pattern in one of his sales. I have yarn set aside for it, but I have not cast it on. I'm trying to figure out which box the yarn will be in. It is beautiful. I'll put a photo up here. It is beautiful. And so I'm just going to go get the yarn. Instead of telling you about it, I'm going to show it to you. I'll be back in a minute. All right, I'm back and I have the yarn. I did check to see if I had the pattern printed out, and I don't. And that is probably because I haven't actually got to the point of casting this one on at all. I saw the pattern when it was released not long after I finished my Miss Knit Along for that year. And I loved it, but I was not ready to commit to another shawl. These days I have no such qualms. I tend to just have lots of things on the go at the same time. But I didn't have yarn for it. I wasn't quite sure what to do. I then started making a pair of socks with, it's in a bag, so warning, with some of this yarn. And it is Lang Super Socks 4-ply. And when I bought it, I assumed that because it was called Super Socks, I could use it for socks. I then realised it had no nylon in it, nothing strengthening. It was just 100% superwash wool. And since I've had bad experiences making socks with just plain wool, and sometimes they break through on my second or third wear, I wasn't going to use this yarn for socks. But that is what I'd originally purchased it for. So I put it aside and I wasn't quite sure what to do. Let me take it out of the bag. So it's out of the bag, and I don't have yarn labels for these anymore because, like I said, I started a different project. So I have these ones, which I thought would make a really great Aurora Cabin shawl. I don't know if it's a 4-colour or 5-colour shawl. I'm not sure, but I was debating doing scrappy. So these are all the same Lang Super Socks Nature 4-ply. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a 4 or 5 colour shawl. So I then had a look And I had this one, which is Daffodil Road Yarns in her emerald colourway. It's a 4-ply superfine merino emerald. And so I thought that one would just add another colour in here that would go nicely. And then I had a little bit of leftover. So this one is black wattle yarn and fibre, as is this one actually. And these are both, let me double check, they do have tags inside. This one, oh, it is so soft. I made a little cowl with it. Okay, I think they're both Kunzea. So this one is Kunzea 4-ply and is Into the Darkness. And it is 70% baby alpaca, 20% silk, 10% cashmere. Now this is an absolutely delightful blend. I've used it a few times. This one is, oh no, this one is wattle. Wattle 4-ply. This beautiful kind of tonal blue teal. And this one is 100% Australian alpaca. So both of these, as you can imagine, are delightfully soft. I may have even done a shawl, a cowl with both of these, like a brioche one, where I was using them. I think that's what I did. So these two have been used together in a project. And there's enough here, like they're not quite full skeins, but there's enough here that I could use them in something, just the two of them, if I wanted just a cloud, which is kind of tempting. But I've put them with here I put them with these other yarns because the colours work so well. Let me see if I can pick them up. Yeah, so it's going to be quite a tonal shawl. And then my question comes back to this top one. Do I want to include it or not? Because when I had 4 colours, yeah, that's fine. It kind of grounds it. When I had all added these other ones, I'm basically adding another of each tone. Like that's the brighter, that's the deep blue, and that's the tealy colour. And so if I add these, it will give this beautiful, I want to say like an ocean effect where everything will be kind of similar colours, much more tonal. If I add this back in, then it's going to be quite stark in places. So I'm not entirely sure. I like the idea of like a tonal ocean scarf. That sounds beautiful. Shawl. So I'll have a look at the pattern. I'll have a look at what it recommends. I also love the idea of having the softer yarns in. These are not, like they're not overly toothy. They're just not, you know, alpaca and cashmere. And so I think having them mixed in together would make a quite cozy shawl. So that's what I got. I am going to have to check what needles I need. I realised where my 4mm needles went. The most recent one that I had free, I've now used for my advent knitting. And I'm not finished my advent knitting. So I'm not sure. If it's Stephen West, he'll usually say 3.5 and then I often do 3.75 because my gauge is looser than him, but I'm not even sure I've got a 3.75 at the moment. So I'll have maybe my interchangeables, I had 3.75. I will have a look. And being a shawl, I should be able to start on a small cable if I need to and move to a bigger one. As always, I have my little stitch marker here to say that this is day 5, and I'm going to put this onto one of these balls of wool so that it's there and ready when I cast on. This is going to be a good one because I should be able to see quite a bit of progress from the beginning, and with all the colour changes and the pattern changes, I think this could keep my interest today quite a bit. I did want to mention, someone asked in one of the first videos and I responded to them, but I just wanted to mention here as well. Someone asked me how I can, there was no judgment, it was a very sweet question, but they were asking how do I cast on so many new projects when I have so many projects still on the needles from last year's 12 cast on and from last year in general. And I just wanted to talk about that for a minute because I know everyone is different and there's probably other people who have the same question. Now, I am someone who used to cast on everything and not finish anything. Like, it was a bit of a joke. My friends, my family, everyone were like, what, you finished something? How? And it might have been, 5 years in the making. When I became a mum, when I had kids, I found knitting was a great way to be present with them while also keeping my hands busy and keeping my mind a bit busy. And so my knitting really kicked into high gear at that point. And that was only, I guess it's almost 7 years ago now. But that was when I saw that switch from sewing or just, crafting for the fun of crafting to I'm trying to actually finish things. I have a bit more time to sit down. I'm not going to work every day. And also my disposable income got smaller, but it meant that I then was a little bit more intentional in my crafting as well. And I had been through phases, particularly when I'm stressed, where I just want one project that I'm working on. I just want to, it's almost a safety thing. But generally, the way that I work is I do flip between things a little bit. And so having a lot of things on the needles doesn't concern me because until I run out of needles, that one gets a bit concerning. But generally, it doesn't concern me because I'm working on them. And I may not work on them. I mean, if you watched my recap, there are some that I haven't touched since I cast them on last year. But generally, I work on them. I've made progress. This was one of my cast-ons from last year that I'm wearing. It's the Ellie sweater, and I'll link the information about it down below if you're interested. But yeah, it's something that, I like having something small that I can carry around with me. I like having something that I can sit down in the morning that's not too difficult so that I can, read the Bible or read a book while I'm knitting. I like having something that in the evenings I can just kind of sink my teeth into a little bit and get a bit more progress on something a bit more difficult, unless I'm tired and then I want something simple in the evening as well. But I like having that variety. I also realized that a lot of my crafting, a lot of my creativity comes from color play, which is why this shawl is very exciting to me. Because I like seeing how colors work together and blend or contrast. And so if I'm working on something like this, the yoke goes really quickly, or at least the first part, as I see how it's going to look. And then after that, it kind of shifts to a different category. It's no longer kind of scratching that creative itch. It's now like a cozy, restful knit. And so for day one, the linen soup wrap, which if you haven't seen, go have a look at that. That's going to be all color play. I don't have to think, but every time I pick it up and knit it, I'm going to see different colors joining in and playing. And that's going to be so much fun. This one, it's going to be a similar kind of thing, but I'm going to have to think a little bit more about what color I'm going to put where if I'm going to have more colors than what Stephen has in his shawl. And so I have projects for all of those different things. What I do find, because I find that I don't always work on them all, as is evidenced by the 2 that I didn't touch since last year. But I do have this book, and I'm in the process of setting up my one for next year, 2026. Currently, it's December 30th, by the way. So I'm in the process of setting up one for next year. But basically, this is what I do, is I have the project name, what yarn I'm using, start date, end date, and how many grams it used. And as I finish, I fill in those columns. But I also have it color-coded. So anything started before 12 cast-ons last year is red, 12 cast-ons last year is green, anything started after 12 cast-ons this year is red, and then 12 cast-ons this year is, no wait, I missed a thing. The green is not 12 cast-ons. The green is anything started in December. So in the month that this is for, that's what I started this month. And in this case, I've now gone back to 12 cast-ons being red. And this is how I do it. And it means that I only have, in my mind, 5 categories. I also sometimes will think, I want to work on a jumper and I want to work on a shawl and I want to work on socks. And so I'll pick which ones I want to do out of that. And I generally try and be working on something from before 12 cast-ons last year, this year, 2025. Work on something from 12 cast-ons And then anything that's more recent than that, I tend to be working on anyway because I'm casting things on. So there are a couple of things here that have been cast on. Yeah, there's nothing earlier than June from the more recent ones. Everything else is 12 cast-ons. So when I cast something on now, not now in 12 cast-ons, but after 12 cast-ons, when I choose to cast something on, it's usually because it's for a gift. Sometimes it's just random inspiration, but it's usually that I have an endpoint in mind. And so those ones I keep working on. And then the older ones, because I'm writing them down every month, they're in my mind, and I try and choose some of them to work on every month as well. I am debating at the moment doing Whip Go, which is started as a cross-stitching challenge game. It's like bingo, Whip Go. And I'll try to remember to put the link here to a video talking about that, because it's the beginning of the year, a great time to join in. But basically you fill out a 5x5 bingo board with whips or with categories, and then you fill out a second one with goals. And so every month someone rolls a dice or does a random number picker and picks 2 numbers, and you choose those whips and those goals to work on for that month. And I thought that could be really fun as a way of getting not just these things in process, but like sitting next to me. I have an Advent stitchery that I've got all the thread for. I finally prepped the stitchery, and I haven't actually started stitching it. I've also got my ice cream soda Christmas quilt that I haven't touched at all this Christmas season. Throughout the year, yes, but not at Christmas time. So there's other things that I have around that I'd like to work on, and so I was like, maybe that would be a good way to do it. But because I already have my kind of system of something older, something 12 cast-ons, and then whatever else I need to get done, and every month I kind of take stock and go, what do I want to work on this month, and write down notes if I need to. Like I've got different stickers like this that I'll just pop in and be like, these are my goals, or this is what I'm working on. And then I can check it off as I work on it or as I finish it, depending on what my goal is. Because I have these things, I'm not sure that having Whip Go is going to help me, or if it's going to feel like a burden. And that's kind of why I'm hesitating. I wrote a list of projects or prompts. I wrote a list of goals. It's 2 a month. But, some of them were, work on it for 30 minutes a day, or work on it. Actually, I had a thought last night, and I was like, could I make this work? And I don't know if I can. I don't know if it's worth it. But it kind of made me excited. Rather than having a random whatever, write down all of my whips and then have like 10 hours. And if my goal is to work on every whip that I have for 10 hours this year, any whip that I had before 12 cast-ons this year, or even including 12 cast-ons. But if my goal is to work 10 hours on every one of those whips, then some of them would be finished. Some of them would be progressed, but I have a lot of whips. And so if I was actually trying to do that for every whip, we'd be talking, sewing included, you'd be talking like over 500 hours in a year that I'm trying to work on these things to get them progressed. What I liked about the Whip Go, the way that I did it, is some of them were like, take a quilting whip and turn it into a project bag. And so it's like, it's not just I have to finish the quilt, but actually helping me reimagine things that have been sitting there for ages that I'm not actually going to come back to. Yeah, something to think about. So anyway, that is a little bit of how I stop being overwhelmed. I do get to the point if I am feeling overwhelmed. Sometimes it's life related, sometimes it's crafting related, but I try and stop and take stock and go, why am I overwhelmed here? And Whip Go, I'm having a little hesitation, which is telling me that's not a good thing to help my crafting be fun. Because it is just for fun, right? This is enjoyable. It's for rest. It's for relaxation. It also helps provide clothes for family and gifts and things like that. But it is something that I enjoy doing. And so I don't want to put things on myself to make it not fun. So that, if you're wondering how I'm starting 12 new projects now when I still have 7 from last year and then all the other ones I've started are not finished, that's how. Anyway, I am going to go print off this pattern See if I can find some 3.75mm needles, because I'm pretty sure that's what it will be, but I will double check that that's what I'll use for this. And I'm going to cast on. I'm really excited. This shawl has been waiting, the yarn has been waiting for so long. I'm really excited. The more I look at the yarns, the more I think I probably will just do the selection of blues and greens, but I will take this and add it to the bag just in case I decide that I want it to be a poppy, have some pop somewhere. All right, I will check in with you later. Oh, and also, I don't have to wind any yarn today. It's all pre-wound. I can just pull out the needles and go. This is great. Yeah. The other thing that's happening is we do have a friend from Australia coming to visit tomorrow. So tomorrow, we will be out of the house almost all day. So tomorrow, we'll see if I feel like doing some cast on in the morning before we leave, or whether I will have the day off tomorrow like I was thinking I would. We'll see. But that's future Kirsty's problem right now. I'm going to go find some needles. I'll see you soon. We just went for a walk as a family. It was really, really lovely, but it was freezing. It's -2 degrees outside, but it feels like -8 with the wind chill. And because it was sunny and -2, we didn't put on all of the clothes for the super cold weather. So by the time we got back, our legs were freezing. But we just went around the block and down the ways a little bit. It wasn't too far. And we saw some deer. I did take some footage and I'll put it in, but I'm not sure if it will show clearly because it was a long way away and I had to zoom in. Oh, man, it was cold. As we were leaving, a delivery driver came up and dropped off a parcel from Australia that had been redirected, had been returned to sender twice because of customs things. So it finally arrived, and then we had another mini Christmas when we got home and opened all these presents with hot chocolate and mulled wine. Oh, it was delightful. So now that the kids are a little worn out, we're a bit tired, we're all going to sit down, we're going to watch a movie, and I'm going to keep working on my shawl. But yeah, it's just been a really fun, special afternoon, and we've ordered food out. We have a local burger shop here that does delicious burgers. And where that shop is, I think we've lived here 4 years and there's been probably 4 shops in that place since we've moved in. So every year kind of the business goes out and a new business comes in. And so we like to order from them occasionally to support local business because there's not many takeaway places around here that are, you know, walking distance from us. But yeah, it's also a very special treat for us to get burgers. And yeah, just part of our complete relaxed day. So let's go watch a movie. I have no idea what we're going to watch yet, but let's go watch a movie. Hello, it is the end of the day. It is 10:40 at night. I feel like I should stop telling you what time it is at night when I'm going to bed because it is always later than my normal bedtime, but also it's kind of holidays, so that's kind of what we do, isn't it? And I am sleeping in a bit more in the morning, so I'm not just massively losing out on sleep. Anyway, it is 10:40 in the evening and I'm here to show you my progress on the Aurora Cabin shawl. I am so happy with that. With the backlighting, you're not seeing it as clearly, but let me see. There we go. So I have indeed decided to do it low volume, low contrast. Not low volume, but low contrast. And I just picked the colours 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the gradient. And so what I'm noticing, at least at the beginning, is he kind of just goes through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in that gradient order, or in that order. However, with Stephen patterns, I'm quite used to starting in a certain order and then flipping them around and having different ones paired with different ones throughout. And I'm pretty sure the same will happen with this. I am very, very happy with having it low contrast. It's not whites, but low contrast. And I am loving actually doing the knitting. I've used every colour so far. I am carrying my yarns across the side. There was one point I did a few rows where I forgot, and then I just twisted them back in, and so I'm not even sure if you'll be able to see that there. There's a tiny little spot where they're carried up. One thing I did realise when I started using this yarn is that I have a little ball of pretty much every colour. And I remembered that what I had done is I'd started a different shawl with this yarn, and then after it sitting there for 6 months untouched, I frocked it. Had nothing to do with the yarn, the pattern itself was fine, I just hadn't touched it, and I'd already knit the same shawl, very similar shawl in different colours, and I just didn't want to do it again. So I had this set aside for a shawl before I even found this shawl. And I also had started. So I had all these little odds and ends. I'm just using those little bits first. I've already used all of colour A. You can see here and here is where I've joined in the new yarn. And I joined it in just by knitting 5 stitches of both yarns at the same time. And then went back to just holding it single. I'm doing the weave and steven, which is just every stitch you twist or like throw over the end of the yarn over the working yarn and just twist it in as you go. I do it for shawls whenever I can, and so this one I'm definitely doing it. But yeah, I'm not sure what else I can tell you about it except that I am following the pattern exactly. I think there are... Did I just leave the pattern downstairs? I left the pattern downstairs. I've been working on it while I've been editing it. Editing other days of the 12 cast-ons. I think there are 7 sections. I went to count them and I only had printed 3, and then I realised my printer ran out of paper, so I thought I had the whole pattern and I didn't. I put more paper in the printer, printed the rest, it's all good. I think there's 7 sections and I've already finished 1 and started the 2nd. This is kind of the dream for 12 cast-ons, the kind of day I've had, restful, relaxing, with the family, plenty of time to sit down with them, but also do knitting at the same time. So it's been really lovely. I don't know if I will be here tomorrow or not. It's a to be decided, I'm afraid. However, it should still be not that much longer until you see the next episode, whether I'm here tomorrow or not, because I'm uploading them a few days behind actually recording. Oh, and if you are wondering, the shirt that I'm saying says, sorry, I wasn't listening. I was thinking about knitting. I got the shirt from Spreadshirt here in Poland. I don't know if you can get it from Spreadshirt in other countries or not. And then the shawl I'm wearing is Stephen West Mystery Knit Along from this year, which is the Mystery Musicale. It is great for when it's a bit chilly and I want something over my shoulders. I've been wearing it a lot. So I'll link all of my information for that down below as well if you're interested in colours and yarns and things. I think that's all I've got for you now. I'm gonna actually finish recording this and then go down and edit this straight away because we have a friend arriving tomorrow and I will not have access to my editing computer while she's here. So I'm going to get this edited and uploaded so that it can go up in a few days. And I will still be casting on either tomorrow or the next day and uploading them when I have a chance to edit again. It has been lovely. I've really enjoyed today's cast on, both for the project and for just the kind of day that we've had. And so I hope that you've enjoyed this vlog as well, with a little bit of extra vlog kind of footage, outside time, those types of things. As always, I'd love to hear what you've been working on. Have you finished your 12 cast-ons yet? Are you still working on them? And I have, again, linked other people who I know who are doing 12 cast-ons and have vlogs or are talking about them in their podcasts down below. So if you want more 12 cast-ons content, go have a look there. It has been delightful. I'm going to say goodnight now and I will see you again hopefully in a couple of days. Bye.